Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is your favorite show, Daily Calls, a show that addresses all your stock-related queries. In case of this weak market that's perturbing you at this point in time, looking at your portfolios, you are at a loss of where exactly and how should you be strategizing your moves, well, then you are at the right place. The WhatsApp number is flashing on your screen. Send us your questions on your portfolio, on your stocks, so that our top guests can guide you better to the way you should be handling the current volatility and the pain in the markets as well. Let's welcome our guest on board. We have with us a very special guest joining in. Mr. Jay Thakkar is with us. He is the head of derivatives and quant research and vice president of ICICI Securities with us on the platform. Warm welcome to you, Jay, and good to have you with us. But the markets are absolutely, negative at this point in time. The sentiment is very bad. We are at the risk of breaching 22,000 as well. And of course, we are also at the risk of hitting the June 4th lows of 21,800 with the kind of fall that we are looking at. How are you looking at the current sentiment, and do you really see further downside from here on, or do you believe a base building or a bottom building exercise is underway?
Hi, good afternoon to you, Sakshi, and thanks for having me on your show. And it's always a pleasure, to be on this show.
Thank you.
Uh, well, see, Sakshi, I would say that first of all, as far as the index is concerned, we have seen good amount of selling coming on Nifty. Somehow we have seen almost all the sectors in this particular fall, which has started from say 23,800. Now we are almost, at 22,000, so it's 1,800 points fall. And in that, most of the sectors have participated on the downside. It's just that one of the outperformers which we have as of now is Nifty Bank. So that's been outperforming. Otherwise, most of the sectors are beaten down. We did not see much of the recovery coming in the previous bounce back from 22,800 to 23,800. It was quite selective, mainly budget focused, wherein consumption stocks or consumption-led stocks had bounced back. The rest of the market was already down. So we had seen a good, short positions in the derivatives market by the FI, which still continues at quite below 20 levels. I would say net long is still at 14-15%. And generally from these levels, we have been saying since past 2 months that these are the levels which are quite oversold for the FIs to be on the short side. They've been rolling their shorts, and the shorts in the FNO stocks have also reached to their many stocks to their lifetime peak or highs. So this setup overall case, Sakshi, for a medium-term bounce back. I mean, wherever markets will bottom out this time around, probably the immediate support looks at 21,800. I am sure most of the people on the street are expecting market or Nifty to hold those levels, because those are the levels wherein we had seen, during the election time, market had recovered from 21,200, 300 zone to close at around 21,800. So I think that if those levels are held, so we are just 200 points away from those levels, and the risk reward is favorable as of now in anticipation of a short covering. Right, for a bank Nifty, those levels support comes to around 47,000. Mid and small cap indices are already at those levels or below those levels as well, so they are also quite low. So this is not a time, I would say, to be fearful and exit from portfolio wherein you've already seen a cut of more than 4,000 points on the index.
Sure.
In fact, as we were just discussing, right? So when everyone is fearful, I mean, you should start being greedy if you're a long-term
Yeah.
investor. So from an investment point of view, anything, you should be feeling fearful, be greedy right now. If you're greedy at 26,000, then you should definitely be greedy at 22,000.
Okay, got that. So, in case of extreme fear in the markets, look at greed at this point in time. Look at where you can go for value buying, bottom fishing at this point in time, because ultimately this tide will turn sometime. How long will it take is difficult to say, but it has to turn at some point as well. And looking at that long-term goal, you could actually take the benefit. We have a lot of questions there coming in, so we'll straight away dive into our viewers' questions. A lot of them are actually worried in this fall, so we'll start taking their questions. Avnish Chaudhary is our first viewer on our YouTube platform, and he says, "Hi Sakshi, इरिडा के शेयर्स ने बर्बाद कर दिया और यहाँ पर 150 के नीचे भी मुझे एवरेज करने की सलाह दी गई थी और लगातार इस शेयर में गिरावट हो रही है। 216 के लेवल पर मैंने खरीदा हुआ था, तो अब 145 तक आ चुका है। अब यहाँ पर मैं क्या करूँ?" आपका सवाल बिल्कुल वाजिब है अवनीश जी। देखा जाए तो इरिटा जैसे स्टॉक्स जहां पर जब रैली शुरू हुई थी तो एक तरफा चाल आपने देखी थी। इसे रेन्यूएबल एनर्जी स्पेस का एक काफ़ी पसंदीदा स्टॉक भी माना गया था। काफ़ी इन्वेस्टर्स ने इस पे पैसे भी बनाए, लेकिन जिन लोगों ने हायर लेवल्स पर एंटर किया वो काफ़ी समय से अब वेट कर रहे हैं और बाजार में ओवरऑल ही काफ़ी ज़्यादा वीकनेस है। तो आप देख ही पा रहे हैं कि ओवरऑल सेंटिमेंट ब्रेकडाउन का यहाँ पर असर है। जय, क्या सजेस्ट करना चाहेंगे? 216 की खरीद है, एवरेज भी करने के लिए इनको पहले कहा गया था कि 150 के नीचे धीरे धीरे आप एवरेज कर सकते हैं अपनी पोजीशंस को। अब यहाँ पर क्या सलाह बनेगी?
वेल साक्षी, मैं कहूंगा आपने सही कहा है। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कि इरडा ने जब लिस्ट हुआ था तब से लेकर तो अच्छे रिटर्न लोगों को बनाकर दिए। 230 रुपये तक मिला था, तो 30 वाला 300 हो गया, 10 भी हो गया। अब उसके बाद तो थोड़ा करेक्शन आएगा एंड वहां से आधा हुआ है। राइट, मेरे हिसाब से एफएनओ में डेटा भी देख लो, बिकॉज ये महीने से एफएनओ में भी आया है ये स्टॉक। तो वहाँ पे तो शॉर्ट्स बन रहे साक्षी। एंड टेक्निकली साथ ही साथ मैं देखूँ अलॉन्ग विद डेरिवेटिव्स तो 120-25 की रेंज में मेरे हिसाब से एक मीडियम टर्म सपोर्ट है। अगर वो रेंज में आता है आपको डेफिनेटली सज आउट करना चाहिए फॉर अ गुड एवरेज एंड अ बाउंस बैक इन एंटिसिपेशन ऑफ अ बाउंस बैक। तो 120 से 25 की रेंज में आप एवरेज कीजिए।
ओके, चलिए उम्मीद करते हैं आपको अपने सवाल का जवाब यहाँ मिल गया होगा। नेक्स्ट हमारे पास सवाल आया अवधीश ठाकुर का। दो स्टॉक्स के ऊपर फ्रेश एंट्री लेना चाह रहे हैं अभी करंट लेवल्स पर। पहला है टाटा पावर और दूसरा है टीडी पावर सिस्टम्स। लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए ये देख रहे हैं इन दोनों स्टॉक्स को, टाटा पावर और टीडी पावर सिस्टम्स। कैसे लगते हैं आपको ये दोनों स्टॉक्स?
वेल टाटा पावर पे पहले मैं कहूंगा एज अ डिस्क्लेमर, आईसीआईसीआई सिक्योरिटीज का ऑलरेडी एक बाय रिकमेंडेशन है फ्रॉम मीडियम टर्म पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू। तो आईसीआईसीआई में ये स्टॉक रिकमेंड हुआ है फॉर टू द क्लाइंट्स एंड आई थिंक ये स्टॉक पर और ये सेक्टर पर ओवरऑल हम बुलिश है। एक्चुअली मैं कहूंगा टाटा पावर पर हम बुलिश है ओवरऑल। सी डेरिवेटिव डेटा देखें हम तो पावर सेक्टर में थोड़ी बहुत शॉर्ट कवरिंग हमें लास्ट सीरीज में भी देखने मिली थी, चाहे वो टाटा पावर हो, टोरेंट पावर हो, या तो एनटीपीसी हो, जेएसडब्ल्यू एनर्जी हो। सभी स्टॉक्स में हमें थोड़ा एक पॉजिटिव डाइवर्जेंस के साथ एक शॉर्ट कवरिंग भी देखने मिली थी और ये सारी स्टॉक्स प्रीवियस लूज को अच्छी तरह से पुल आउट कर रहे हैं। चाहे आप टाटा पावर देखिए, प्रीवियस लूज को ब्रेक नहीं किया रिसेंटली। एनटीपीसी भी अपने लूज फेब्रुअरी लूज उसके ऊपर ही ट्रेड कर रहा है। तो नेट नेट हमारा आउटलुक फॉर पावर सेक्टर इज पॉजिटिव, जिसमें टाटा पावर मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है डेफिनेटली ये लेवल्स पर एंटर कर सकते हैं, स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं। बट इतना ध्यान रखा गया कि मार्केट का एक ओवरऑल स्ट्रक्चरल ट्रेंड एज ऑफ नाउ डाउन और कोई रिवर्सल दिखा नहीं है। वी होपिंग 21,800 से रिवर्स हो जाए। हमारा कॉन्ट आउटलुक में अर्ली जो निकाला था हमने, उसमें भी कहा था कि 21,800 की लेवल है जो टेस्ट हो सकते हैं एंड वहां से हमें सपोर्ट बड़ा मिल सकता है। सो आई थिंक यस, टाटा पावर शुड नॉट आइडियली go below 300। अकॉर्डिंग टू अस दैट इज अ वेरी क्रूशियल सपोर्ट। तो वो ले सकते हैं। टीडी पावर मुझे अभी भी थोड़ा टेक्निकली, डेरिवेटिव्स में नहीं तो टेक्निकली वहाँ पे मैं थोड़ा आपको सजेस्ट करूंगा। अभी भी मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि करेक्शन इतना नहीं हुआ रिलेटिवली टू अदर पावर स्टॉक्स। इसमें और भी थोड़ी जगह है नीचे की तरफ, मोमेंटम वीक है। सो यू कैन अवॉइड एंटरिंग इन टीडी पावर राइट नाउ, बट टाटा पावर यू कैन डेफिनेटली स्टार्ट।
Okay, got that. We'll take another one. This one is from Ankur Modi. He says, "Hi Sakshi, hope you're doing well. I want to ask, what should investors do in these continuous falling markets? Say if someone does not need their money at the current time and are holding some good stocks. So what should one be doing?" Good question, Ankur. And the good part is that you actually are not in the need of immediate money at this point in time, so you don't have to actually cut losses and book out of the current market. And you also believe that you are holding some good stocks. We don't know the names of those stocks that you're holding, but this is a generic question, Mojay. For someone who's invested for the long term, even if they are seeing their portfolios fall, even if they are good stocks, good fundamental stocks in their portfolios, 10, 20, 30, even 40 or 50% down their portfolio is, what should they be doing at this point?
I would say that he has a good risk appetite, I would say, because
Yeah.
he doesn't have money right now and he is ready to still be invested, which is good. Okay, from a long-term point of view, risk reward point of view, he'll be good going forward as well. I think 21,800 is the support. As I
Ji.
said, now you are not in the need of a cash, and if you want to average your stocks, or probably even if you want to buy more in the market, then you have to basically buy in a staggered approach. You have bought something at say high levels around say 24,000, 25,000, and markets have come to 22 to 21,800 support zone. You should be buying at each support zone. Which support zone ideally will markets respect to? or whether it forms a new support. That only time will tell when there is a reversal. You will definitely have an estimate of probability. So probability as of now says that 21,800 nearby, those levels you should be buying a bit more. If those levels are broken, which should be the next level you should be watching out. Suppose today I'm telling you right now at 21,800. Suppose that breaks, then when next? I think then next level should be 21,000, and thereafter maybe 25, 500, and so on and so forth, right? So I think in
Hmm.
these levels you should be entering, buying little, so that you get a good average and you get a good long-term benefit of the same as well. If you don't have additional money, but if you still want to stick to it, I don't see a problem in the long term.
Okay, fair point. So I hope, Ankur, this has also clarified your own question as well as how do you approach the markets even when the markets are falling so much. We have a lot of questions coming in on our WhatsApp number also, so we'll start taking some of those questions too. This is from Mr. Annamalai from Tamil Nadu. He says, good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Annamalai. Good to have you with us on the show with your question. He's holding Natco Pharma, about 110 shares at an average price of 1130. And the second stock that he has in his portfolio is from the banking space, Karnataka Bank, over 600 shares at the price of 221. He says, I'm a long-term investor and I don't mind holding these stocks for next 3 to 5 years view, but I want to know whether I can start averaging to buy more at the current levels. Okay, we'll take them one by one. Karnataka Bank you have at 221, current price is 165. Let's also look at Natco Pharma. His average purchase price is 1130 on Natco Pharma as well, whereas the current price has slipped below 800 levels. How would you really assess both these stocks, Jay, for him?
Sure. First of all, I'll start with the KTK Bank, which I'll give a technical view as it is not available on the FNO. So I would say that Sakshi, this stock was consolidating from 2008 until it gave a final breakout in say 2023. So it was almost 15 years when this stock was trading within this band of 170 to say 20, 30 rupees on the downside, right? 15. Post that, which will give a breakout, and now it reached retesting those levels from which it broke out. So I think that yes, these are the current levels to enter into PTA by even these levels, current market price. You can average it out. As far as NATCO is concerned, uh, this stock, like ATK Bank, was also trading within a range, but it was not a 15 years range. Actually, it was it provided a breakout somewhere in 24, and so the consolidation was from 2017 to 24. So it was for almost 7 years consolidation, which provided a breakout on the upside, but it failed. So when something fails, like in KTK, if it moves below 150, it will fail, right? And once you have seen a failure, technically or derivatives point of view, you need to exit, okay? Because you don't have those logics or reasons for being bullish on it. So I would say KTK Bank below 150. If you're buying it right now, you should be reviewing it again. And if not supported well with the technicals and fundamentals, you can exit and book loss also. Because that is also very much important in market when to exit. Okay, otherwise you keep holding until 2 rupees and 5 rupees. Well, I'm not saying that is going to happen, but those are the levels you should be looking out for KTK Bank. And likewise on Natco Pharma,
Yeah.
that level she was 1300. And on a conservative note, it was 1250. Now it's trading below those levels. So I don't
Yeah.
see a major support on Natco Pharma before 575. If someone really is bullish on this stock and wants to buy on a support range, that level comes to 575. Either buy it during those levels, else if it moves again above 1250 or 1300. Till then, the stock could do nothing.
Okay. Okay. Hope this has also given you some clarity as to how to approach both these stocks. We'll take another question again from our WhatsApp number. This is Kalyan from Bangalore. Hi Kalyan. He says, I want to buy two stocks at the current levels. Please guide. One is Afcons Infra and the other one is a recently listed stock, and that's the International Gemological Institute. Today there is a 10% lower circuit on this one. This is post the earnings that have come in for the company too. Let's actually discuss Afcons Infra, for which at least Jay, you will have slightly bigger charts. What would you really want to say on this one? 400 as the current level, 3% lower in trade today. Do you think this is a good time to take a fresh entry?
Well, see, the stock, technically speaking, the stock had gone up once it started listed in November. Until November to Jan, this stock went up until 570 odd levels, Sakshi. But then since then, it's been falling. Although the fall has not been that impulsive, by that I would say that it was not that very linear fall. a lot of up and down momentum, but then the trend has been down. Okay, so it's trading below its IPO listing levels as well now. So that was a critical support 410, 420 range. Now it's trading below those levels. Today's high is also somewhere around 425. So I think on AFCON 450 is the level to watch out for. If it moves below above those levels, probably you can assume that the panic or the selling pressure is over. Above
Hmm.
450, you can think that whatever low has been made now, that is a probable medium to long term low. Till then, bottom fishing would not be advised as it's trading below its listing price as well. So there is no further data of a downside.
Okay, okay, fair point. Yes, I hope this has helped you out to get a perspective as to how do you go about it. We'll take a few questions from our YouTube as well, and then we'll come back to our WhatsApp questions. Kamlesh Narkere writes in, says, "Hi Sakshi, I want to know on Federal Bank. I have 100 shares at an average price of 102. Um, हाँ, so now he wants to further average the stock and he wants to know कि कितने पर और average किया जा सकता है Federal Bank. So after a long haul, even Federal Bank did give us some signs of improvement in the recent past, Jay. But do you think the tide is still far from reversing for this one? Is it still going to be in a volatile zone? What would you assess and tell us?
And this has been one stock fundamentally too, which I would say has performed quite well. I think many of them liked, I mean, even at ICICI, we liked their Federal Bank, and
Yeah.
we had a buy recommendation. And see, fundamentally, it's a good stock, no doubt about it. It's just that the current, in the current fall, we are seeing long unwinding, in this stock particularly. And I think the momentum will be, upward momentum will be bullish above the levels of 185, actually. So above those levels, one can definitely add. One should not be selling it right now, but then adding to get the momentum, it would be above 185. It takes off those levels, it's again going back about 200, maybe 210, or maybe even lifetime high. So it's been one of the outperformers. And the overall trend in the long term is bullish. For momentum trading, 185 is the level to watch out for. And the downside, if someone is looking out for a support, I think it's just near the support of 170. That should hold out.
Okay, so Kamlesh ji, both higher targets as well as support levels have been shared with you. Keep that in mind for sure. Subramaniam P asks, "Hi Sakshi, I bought RBL Bank shares, about 1500 shares at the rate of 236. I bought this last year. Now I want to know whether I should continue to hold on to my loss position or book losses." Again, the question that where people are actually losing the confidence in the stocks that they are they have been holding for long term, Jay, in this kind of a weak sell off. RBL Bank 153 right now. What should be done?
And this has been one of the underperformers we all know, and we have seen significant shorts getting built up on RBL Bank as well. So this
Yeah.
is one stock technically as well as from a derivatives point of view has seen overall weakness only, and I am still not bullish on this. I would say
Okay.
that it's consolidating now. So the recent, since I would say since December, it's actually what's important to watch out in RBL is, and there's something really interesting. I mean, even if the
Yeah.
bank might have fallen, the stock has somehow managed to hold on to its current levels of 145, 150 range, and it is back to 153. So the downside, sharp downside or a decline will only be below 145. Otherwise, it has managed to hold on. It can continue to hold on these levels. So I would not be bearish right now. I will be bearish below 145 if I have to grab the downside momentum. Else avoid. But if I have to be bullish on this stock just from the point of view of short covering, then it has to be beyond 170. I mean, it's still far. It's more than 10%, right? So that makes a trade on the upside. But I would definitely not go long right now. But I would definitely go short if it breaks 145 because that's the level it has been holding since past couple of 2 or 3 months now.
Okay. Hopefully, Mr. Subramaniam P, this has also helped you out in understanding this thing as to how to go about certain stocks. Of course, an underperforming one, so you've been stuck at a wrong story, both fundamentally and technically. But do pay heed to the advice that's been shared by our guest to you. विनीत कुलकर्णी लिखते हैं, बीएससी का स्टॉक 1000 के नीचे कब आएगा, प्लीज़ एक्सप्लेन इन हिंदी. विनीत जी, क्या आपको खरीदना है ये स्टॉक? अगर आप ये लिखते तो डेफिनेटली मुझे एक आइडिया लगता. फिलहाल 4400 पर है ये स्टॉक. आप काफ़ी बेरिश आउटलुक लेकर चल रहे हैं इसमें. 1000 रुपये के नीचे आने का व्यू आप लेकर चल रहे हैं. एक बेटर आइडिया मिलता अगर आप एक बार बता पाते कि आपने या तो शॉर्ट पोजीशंस ली हुई हैं, इसके लिए आप पूछ रहे हैं, या फिर आप लोअर लेवल्स का इंतजार कर रहे हैं जिससे कि आप एक फ्रेश एंट्री ले पाएँ। एक ओवरऑल व्यू हम जैसे डेफिनेटली बीएसई पर ले लेते हैं। BSE has been a wealth creator. Everybody knows in the recent past the way the stock has performed again, but in the recent downturn of last 4-5 months, the stock has been consolidating and correcting also from those higher levels. But the stock markets aren't going anywhere, and an exchange stock like this, even when there are talks of NSE IPO coming in, how would you really assess BSE as a stock at this point, Jay?
Sure, Sakshi, when I would say, see, the current fall which we are seeing from 6,000 until the current levels is mainly on account of long unwinding. Now, see, BSE stock had gone up quite a lot. One was definitely relative valuation wise, it was cheaper as compared to the NSE. Kind of, the listing which was expected on NSE. So that was one reason why BSE was cheap that point of time at 250 as well. I mean, in 3 digits. And thereafter it moved to 6,000. So definitely it has been a well creator. The recent sell-off will be linked to the profit booking. Why profit booking? Because what I think is actually the kind of estimates which one could make on BSE stock going up on back of its earnings from the derivatives market share which has risen, and as on the expiry day if you see, then almost as far as the notional derivatives turnover on BSE and NSE is now almost been same.
थोड़ा हिंदी में भी बता दीजिए जय, इनको थोड़ा हिंदी में समझने का पूछा है, इन्होंने रिक्वेस्ट किया है, हिंदी में भी बता दीजिए।
बीएसई जरा मैं कहूंगा कि 400 लाख करोड़ के आसपास का टर्नओवर हो रहा है डेरिवेटिव्स मार्केट में, जो एनएससी के वीजा भी ऑलमोस्ट सेम हो चुका है। तो वो जो प्राइस में काफी कुछ आ चुका है कि भाई जो अर्निंग्स हो रही थी, एक एंटिसिपेशन था, इसके कारण मार्केट ऊपर जा रहा था कि बीएसई का स्टॉक ऊपर जा रहा था। अगर वो 400 लाख करोड़ का नोशनल टर्नओवर यहाँ पे हो गया, ऑलमोस्ट लाइक 12 से 14,000 करोड़ का प्रीमियम वाइज टर्नओवर हो गया है। एनएससी का वहां से अभी भी डबल है, तो वहां पे ग्रोथ एंटिसिपेटेड है। बट यहाँ पे 16-17,000 करोड़ का भी अगर टर्नओवर बीएससी करता है प्रीमियम वाइज, तो भी वो भी प्राइस में था जो हिसाब से उसको मल्टीपल मिला था फॉरवर्ड अर्निंग्स पे, राइट। तो अर्निंग वाइज तो उस पर काफी था। अगर स्टॉक फ्यूचर्स और डेरिवेटिव्स में अगर और कुछ एक अच्छा मोमेंटम, एक अच्छा बिजनेस अगर यहाँ से ग्रैब होता है, तो शायद वो स्टॉक फिर से 6,000 पार जा सकता है। अदरवाइज आई थिंक जितना भी कुछ डेरिवेटिव से इसे गेन करना था, मार्केट शेयर से जो भी प्राइस में गेन करना था, रिबेट जो बंद कर दी सेबी ने, जो डिस्काउंट ब्रोकर्स को ज्यादा करके सभी ब्रोकर्स को देते थे, वो उसके कारण उनका प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी बढ़ गया। तो वो सारा चीज प्राइस में आ चुका है। अब मुझे नहीं लगता कि बीएससी में यहाँ से और आपके क्वांटिटी लेवल इमीडिएट बेसिस पर देखने चाहिए। बट क्या उसका मतलब ये है कि वो 1000 के नीचे आएगा? नहीं, मुझे वो भी नहीं लगता। बिकॉज सी मार्केट में करेक्शन बीएससी में दो रीजन से है। एक तो प्रॉफिट बुकिंग के उसके वैल्यूएशन जो जस्टिफाइड लेवल पर आ गए थे वो आ चुके, तो वहाँ पर प्रॉफिट बुकिंग जायज था। सेकेंड, मैं ये भी कहूंगा कि मार्केट में जो हिसाब से वॉल्यूम थोड़े बहुत घटे, मार्केट मिल गया तो वॉल्यूम घटते हैं, तो वो कारण से आपको थोड़ा प्रॉफिट बुकिंग देखने मिल रहा है। तो ऐसा भी नहीं है कि हमारा मार्केट 10,000 निफ्टी पे जा रहा है कि सेंसेक्स वापस 30,000 पे आ रहा है कि वॉल्यूम इतने घट जाएंगे कि इनका रेवेन्यू नहीं होगा और स्टॉक 1000 के नीचे आ जाएगा। 1000 के नीचे में स्टॉक को नहीं देखता है। तो साहब मैं ऐसा कहूंगा कि ये अगर थोड़ा बहुत और करेक्ट हो जाता है बिल्कुल, और 3,500 के आसपास में मिल जाएगा इन द वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो, तो आपके लिए वो लेवल भी अच्छे रहेंगे निवेश के लिए। 1000 के लिए वेट करना एज ऑफ नाउ तो नहीं लगता सही।
ओके, 3,000 के आसपास भी आए तब भी आप यहाँ पर खरीदारी कर सकते हैं, वो बढ़िया लेवल्स होंगे। 1000 तक के आने का कोई आसार अभी नहीं नजर आ रहा है, तो आप उस हिसाब से आगे बढ़िए। बहुत सारे सवाल हमारे पास व्हाट्सएप के जरिए भी आ रहे हैं, तो एक एक करके ये सवाल लेते हैं। There is this question from Deepak. He says, "Hi, I'm from Canada." Hi, Deepak. Good to have you on the show. He says, "Thanks to Business Today for arranging this wonderful show to help retail investors like us." Thank you so much for writing in such appreciative words for us, Deepak. Hope this show really helps you out in your investment journey as well. So his question is on two stocks again. One is Dream Folks, and he has about 4,000 shares of this company at the rate of 335. And from the insurance basket, he has Star Health. About 3,000 shares he holds here at an average price of 420. Now he wants to know for the short term, any support levels for both these counters and a long term view as well. Both for short term as well as long term, he needs to know how the stock prices are placed. I think Dream Folks has been an underperformer for quite a while. Now 252 in the current levels, 5.5% lower even in trade today, despite being a very unique model. a monopolistic nature in the business that it is in, the stock or the earnings have really not provided it the kind of momentum that it would have hoped to. 40% of a downtick in the last 3 months alone is what we've seen. So it's really come off a lot. What should one do here? And the other one is Star Health Insurance as well.
You said it right. I mean, see, something if doesn't work in the good times as well,
Yeah.
then how do you even think of the stock performing in the bad time, or maybe the similar kind of situation. So we have seen Sakshi, the kind of air traffic, the kind of revenge
Yeah.
tourism, traveling and all of it. I mean, the hotel stocks perform quite well. The
100%.
airlines perform quite well. Despite that, I mean, if hotels and airlines have performed and this stock could not perform that well, you know, then there is some problem, I think. Hence, the outlook, according from that logic, clearly indicates that if at all you have a bounce, rather than averaging the stock, you should be looking out to switching some stocks because ultimately, see what theme I want to play through Dreamforce is the tourism part, is what I think. Because you're going to travel and you're going to use the lounges and etc. other things, right? So rather if you want to travel and use the lounges and all, then you would first be preferring hotel than lounges. No
Yeah.
one stays in hotel. Okay, and no one can fly or travel through lounge, one travels through train or buses or maybe flights only. So I think that makes more sense rather than this one. So I think focus on those stocks more if you're bullish on the overall tourism in India or maybe even outside. Okay. Star Health has again been an underperformer, and we have been seeing the overall market share coming down as far as the business is also coming. The top line is not doing that great as
Yeah.
relative to year. In fact, there has been a lot of I would say a complaint against the company as well. That's what I read somewhere. Right. So as far as the what do you say, passing the claim and all that percentage is also relatively lesser, and that's how the company is valued. So if that goes well going forward, definitely this can improve the number of clients addition and all of it, which is not happening as of now. So fundamentally, both of them are not doing good, and when that doesn't happen now, then something trying to say someone to invest or be stay invested for a long term is something which I would not like to go with. So I would say that rather exiting at higher levels would be a proven thing and get into some better health insurance stocks and hospital stocks which could and which are only three are also bullish. I mean Apollo Hospital
Hmm.
numbers were despite their stocks was on profit booking, but that doesn't mean the outlook is negative. Likewise, some stocks like other health insurance like Max Life or maybe SBI or HDFC would do good as compared to Star Health.
Hmm. Okay,
I
fair
Or
point.
I cannot comment on ICICI Lombard or any other company. Otherwise, I would have
Yeah.
said it. Disclaimer, since I'm working with ICICI, so if someone
Yeah.
thinks that I comment on ICICI, I cannot comment on ICICI.
100%. Okay, fair point there. I hope this has answered your question, Bray. We'll thank you then on that note for being with us on the show and helping all our viewers out with the kind of views and the strategies that you suggested to them on their queries. Always appreciate your time with us on Daily Calls. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
for having me.
much.
Thank you for having me and looking forward to join again as well. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. We'll have you back very soon with us. All right, viewers, we'll now jump into the second segment of our show and we'll welcome another guest to answer all your questions from here. We have Nilesh Jain, Head of Vice President of Technicals and Derivatives Research at Centrum Broking, now joining in. Nilesh, welcome. Good to have you with us. Markets definitely turning worse by the day and giving a lot of pain to our viewers. Before I take your view on the markets, there are already so many questions that we have to take. You can clearly understand the kind of nervousness that's amidst a lot of our viewers. So we'll start taking those questions, and in between, I'll come to you for your market outlook as well. Some questions on our WhatsApp that are coming in. There is this question from Mohit from Ludhiana. He says, can I buy Tata Motors at this level for the next 3 years? Tata Motors, we all know how the story has been only, perhaps weakening over the last 5 months odd, and the stock has not only given up crucial levels like 800 and 700, it's now inching closer to 600 levels now. How much more downside from here? Do you think this is an attractive level? Its stock has already given up what, 42% in the last 6 months of its value. Do you think it's a good time to take a fresh entry?
Very good afternoon, Sakshi. Absolutely. See, first of all, if you see on the monthly time frame chart, the stock has continued its downtrend for the 8th consecutive month now. This is the 8 months of fall so far. and it has corrected almost 50% from the highs after making highs near about 1200. It's currently somewhere around 618. So clearly, a 50% wealth erosion can be seen in this particular counter, and still there is some more room left on the lower side. The stock has a major support at somewhere around 500 to 520. So another 100-point fall that cannot be ruled out. But given the kind of 3 years plus time horizon, I think these are the good levels to accumulate this particular counter. But strategy should be to buy in a staggered manner, because we can expect further downtick to continue towards the levels of 550 to 500 as well. So ideally, you should buy in multiple tranches, or a SIP can be a better option to invest in this particular counter. And stop loss, if somebody is buying from a positional perspective as well, then stop loss comes around 430, and buy up to the levels of 520. So good levels from a positional perspective, but not advisable to buy purely from a trading point of view, since the short term trend still looks weak.
Okay, fair point. Let's take the next question. This one is from Mr. Dasaradhi from Vijayawada. It says that I'm having two shares. One is Heritage Foods, about 400 shares at the rate of 235, and Bank of Maharashtra shares at the rate of 58. Can I add more, and what could be the target price for both of these stocks over the next 1 year? Now, Heritage Foods, we know it was like a momentum play during the time when this entire Lok Sabha elections came in. Everybody had a FOMO, everybody wanted to jump onto it. The stock gave like 30, 40, 50% kind of returns in just a very short term. But after that, of course, there has been a lot of consolidation. Although the good point is that he bought it at 235, so he's still in good profits here, despite the overall consolidation in the markets. The second one he has is Bank of Maharashtra at 58. How would you assess both these stocks for next 1 year perspective?
See, first of all, heritage food, as you have rightly pointed out, there was a spurt, and we have seen that momentum has fizzled out. Now the stock has continued its downtick after making highs near about 700. So close to 50% correction has already been witnessed in this particular counter. But since he has already bought, he's still in the money. So I would advise to keep a trailing stop loss at 345. If it falls below 345, then exit your long position, but keep a trailing stop loss at 345. There could be possibility of a pullback. If pullback comes and the stock moves in the zone of 380 to 400, that can be another good exit opportunity. So sell on rise should be the strategy, since the short term structure still looks weak. And from a 1 year time frame as well, I would advise to keep a trailing stop loss at 345.
Yeah.
Maharashtra Bank, a similar downtick, and the trend looks weak in this particular counter as well. The strategy would be similar, to keep a trailing stop loss, a strict stop loss in this particular counter that comes around 42 rupees as of now. So 42 with a stop loss below 42, one can hold this particular counter with an expectation of a pullback. If at all we see any pullback towards the levels of 48 to 50, I would advise to review at 48 to 50 levels once again, because the major undertone still looks weak. We don't know whether this pullback is sustainable or not. But as of now, the trend is clearly on the downside, so pullback should be used as an exit opportunity.
Fair point. I hope this has helped you understand your strategy on both the stocks. Let's take another one. This is from Gul, and she says, I need a technical view for averaging and adding certain stocks that I have in my portfolio. First one is REC. Now, Gul bought this at 444, and the other one is LIC. She purchased this one at 865. Both these stocks she wants to average.
First of all, REC Limited, this particular stock, it is trading well below all short-term and long-term moving averages, and the kind of correction that we have seen in mid-cap and small-cap stocks. So clearly, the trend looks weak. But since already bought it at higher level, so if somebody is looking to average the existing position, then the good level would be somewhere around 350 to 360. So there's a good zone where one can average out the position, or one can even buy a fresh long as well, with a stop loss below 310. Positionally, if at all we see any sustainability in the market, then these are the stocks where we may see an outperformance to continue. So good quality stocks, but purely from a trading point of view, the structure looks weak. Positionally, from next 6 to 8 months or maybe 1 year time frame, these are good levels to average the position, and keep a stop loss somewhere around 320, buy in the zone of 350 to 360. Another stock, LIC, where a similar kind of formation can be seen. The stock is constantly forming a lower top and lower top formation. So with a time horizon of 1 year plus, these stocks can be average out at in the zone of 700 to 680. That's a good entry point for this particular counter. Since the stock has a very strong support at 650, that should be the stop loss for the long position.
Okay, fair point. I hope Guldes has answered to your question about the stocks that you've asked. Let's take the next one. This is from Archana from Bangalore. She says, hi Sakshi, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you as well, Archana. Hope you're doing well. Now she says, I've started my investment journey for my son's higher education, which I will need after 6 years. Okay, Archana, got that. Now she says her entire portfolio is currently at a 10% loss. So what should be her strategy in the weak market? Well, Archana, it would have helped if you would have given us some sense of the stocks that you have in your portfolio to probably just let you know if you are actually staying on course with good fundamental stocks, and technically also they are strong. See, since you have a good horizon of 6 years, things will turn better is what our hope is, and 6 years from now, you definitely will not see Nifty at 22,000. You will see the Nifty at much higher levels. So your 10% loss is also not too massive. It will improve and you will tend to make more profits. We'll ask Nilesh to help you out. Nilesh, the good part is that, you know, people are actually looking at stock markets as a way of creating wealth to complete some of their life goals, like their children's education. And which is a fair point. Although the time horizon is 6 years, it's not extremely long, but it's not very short as well. 5 to 6 years is you know, medium term time frame, and one really can actually build some kind of a wealth in that perspective. How would you guide an average investor if somebody has a 5-6 year horizon to be in the stock markets on the better side if one needs money after 6 years?
Well, Sakshi, as you have rightly pointed out, if we would have got the shares, then that would have been better. We could have advised in a better way. But anyways, what I could hear is that the portfolio is down 10% versus the Nifty index, which is down 15%. So comparatively, the investment seems to be in a good stocks. These are the opportunities if somebody is looking to make an investment for 3 year, 4 year, or maybe 6 year plus time frame. And these are the good opportunities. You won't get it again in next 1 year. So there is no doubt that we may see this consolidation, this correction may continue further from here. But if somebody is making a portfolio, then one should not look at the prices of now. These are the good entry point. Buy in a staggered manner. Keep doing SIPs. And from here, if at all we see any further decline, focus in the quality stocks and largely, since we have already seen a carnage in the broader market, the focus should be on the large cap where we see a margin of safety. So large cap Nifty 50 stocks could be a good idea where one can look to do an SIP or kind of investment for next 6 year plus. A few stocks that I would like to advise from my side. Reliance, one of the heavyweight today, we have seen a good decent correction of 3% plus. So that can be a good bet from a risk and reward perspective. Within NBFC space, Bajaj Finance, Shriram Finance, these are the good stocks. But ideally, you should do a SIP or buy in a staggered manner because the stock has given a good run up in the short term time frame. Within bank space, you have HDFC Bank, State Bank of India. So these are the few names that just want to highlight, which has some quality. And from 6 year plus time frame, I think these are the good levels to enter.
Okay, fair point. Let's take a question with a caller who's with us. Kalpesh Patel is joining in from Mumbai. Hi Kalpesh, how are you?
मैम मैं एकदम बढ़िया हूँ आप कैसे हो? और आज सुबह मार्केट भी काफी अच्छा था, तो एक्चुअली इतने अच्छे मार्केट में ना मेरे फंड खत्म हो गया कि मैं क्या क्या शॉर्ट सेल करूँ। मैंने सब इतना सारा उसके बाद नीचे आ गया ना, मैं शॉर्ट सेल के लिए फंड ही खत्म हो गया और वो कितना क्या बेचूं, कंफ्यूज हो गया था।
बिल्कुल कल्पेश जी, यहाँ बताइए।
आप बताइए।
मैं ये कह रही हूँ कि देखिए बाजार में बाकी सभी दर्शकों के लिए भी ये जानना ज़रूरी है कि आप बाजार को किस नज़र से देखते हैं। जहाँ हम लोग एक तरह सोच रहे हैं अरे बाजार में बहुत पेन है, इतना गिर रहा है, कल्पेश जी ने एकदम ब्राइट पर्सपेक्टिव दिखाया कि देखिए बाजार बहुत अच्छा है क्योंकि बाजार गिर रहा है, क्योंकि ये शॉर्ट सेल करके कमाने में बिलीव करते हैं। तो बाजार दोनों सेलर्स और बायर्स के लिए अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ देता है। और अभी फिलहाल कल्पेश जी कह रहे हैं कि मेरे पास अभी फंड्स कम हो गए हैं क्योंकि मैंने बहुत सारी चीज़ें ऑलरेडी शॉर्ट सेल करी। अब कहाँ पर शॉर्ट सेल करें ये जानना चाहते हैं। जी, आज का कोई सवाल है स्पेसिफिक स्टॉक पर?
डीमार्ट शॉर्ट सेल किया हुआ है एट 3,400, क्या ये 2800 3,000 आ सकता है? और ये पीएसई जो मतलब गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर में, पीएसई सेक्टर में और क्या क्या रियलिटी में और किसमें और शॉर्ट सेल और बन सकता है इस लेवल पर भी?
ठीक है, डीमार्ट 3400 पर इन्होंने शॉर्ट किया हुआ है, क्या 3000 या 2800 तक के लेवल्स आ सकते हैं? और दूसरा, और कहां शॉर्ट सेल करा जा सकता है करंट लेवल्स पर, ये पूछना चाह रहे हैं आपसे नीलेश जी।
बिल्कुल देखिए, सबसे पहले तो जिस हिसाब से मार्केट ने वन साइड पिछले कुछ एक दिनों में करेक्शन दिखाया है, अब इन लेवलों पर एग्रेसिव शॉर्ट करना अवॉइड करना चाहिए, बिकॉज मार्केट्स काफी ओवरसोल्ड है। अगर आप आरएसआई देखें, निफ्टी का आरएसआई जो कि 20 के आसपास आ चुका है, तो क्लियरली यहाँ पे इंडिकेशन मिल रहे हैं कि कहीं ना कहीं एक पुल बैक मार्केट देता हुआ नजर आ सकता है, और इस पुल बैक में कोई ट्रैप ना हो जाए, इसीलिए एग्रेसिव शॉर्ट सेल अवॉइड करने की सलाह होगी। बट येस, इफ इट ऑल वी सी एनी गुड डिसेंट पुल बैक, अगर एक अच्छा खासा उछाल मार्केट में मिलता है, तो अच्छे लेवल पर आपको शॉर्ट करने की अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल सकती है। बट एज ऑफ नाउ वी आर एडवाइजिंग कॉशियस कॉशन, बिकॉज द मार्केट्स आर इनटू ओवरसोल्ड टेरिटरी, तो एक डेड कैट बाउंस आ सकता है। इसीलिए बेहतर होगा कि आप पुल बैक का इंतजार कीजिए, उसके बाद शॉर्ट की अपॉर्चुनिटी ढूंढिए। जहां तक डीमार्ट की बात है, तो डीमार्ट देखिए बिल्कुल यहाँ पर भी एक काफी अच्छा खासा करेक्शन हम देख चुके हैं। यहाँ पे आज का जो कैंडल है वो एक रिवर्सल कैंडल बना रहा है, 3340 का लो बना है। अगर 3340 के नीचे फिसलता है तो यहाँ पे नेक्स्ट टारगेट 3200 से लेके 3000 के बहुत जल्द हमें देखने को मिलेंगे। लेकिन 3340 के लेवल नहीं ब्रीच होते तो पॉसिबिलिटी है कि ये पुल बैक दे सकता है। तो यहाँ पे सबसे पहले आप एक स्टॉप लॉस लगाएं। फ्यूचर्स के अंदर स्टॉप लॉस की बात करें तो 3465 का स्टॉप लॉस लगा के आप अपनी शॉर्ट पोजीशन में बने रह सकते हैं। उसके ऊपर निकलता है तो यहाँ पे एक शॉर्ट कवरिंग हमें देखने को मिलेगी, और हो सकता है काउंटर यहाँ पे पुल बैक के चलते 3600 और 3700 तक का लेवल ऊपरी सिरे पर दिखा पाए। तो बेहतर होगा कि स्टॉप लॉस के साथ आप पोजीशन में ट्रेड करें। एग्रेसिव शॉर्ट इन लेवलों पर अवॉइड करने की सलाह होगी, बेहतर होगा कि पुल बैक का इंतजार करें।
चलिए ठीक है, उम्मीद करते हैं यहाँ पर आपको राय मिल चुकी है। लविशा जलंधर से लिखती हैं और पूछ रही हैं, टीटीएमएल और एमएमटीसी ये खरीदा हुआ है, इनको भी ये एवरेज करना चाह रही हैं करंटली। टाटा टेली और एमएमटीसी दोनों को 78 पर टाटा टेली खरीदा हुआ है और फिलहाल 56 पर आ चुका है ये स्टॉक। एमएमटीसी इन्होंने खरीदा हुआ है 87 के लेवल्स पर, और यहाँ पर भी एवरेज करना चाह रही हैं क्योंकि 48 के लेवल्स पर आ गया है। कोई भी रिवर्सल के साइंस नजर आ रहे हैं क्या करंट लेवल्स पर, और अपनी पोजीशंस में ऐड किया जाए नीलेश?
वेल साक्षी, देखिए दोनों ही स्टॉक्स अगर हम स्ट्रक्चर वाइज बात करें तो काफी वीक स्ट्रक्चर है, और काफी बड़े विपसॉस मूवमेंट इन दोनों ही स्टॉक्स में हमें देखने को मिलते हैं। तो एवरेज उन स्टॉक्स में करना चाहिए जहां पे बिजनेस की विजिबिलिटी हो, जहां पे क्वार्टरली नंबर्स कहीं ना कहीं बेहतर आने के अनुमान हो, और टेक्निकली स्टॉक्स में अगर रिवर्सल दिखने को मिल रहा हो। बट ये सारे साइंस इन दोनों स्टॉक्स में मिसिंग है। हो सकता है कि अगर ब्रॉडर मार्केट्स में पुल बैक आए तो ये स्टॉक थोड़ा सा स्ट्रॉन्ग पुल बैक दिखा सकते हैं। बट अदरवाइज मैं कहूंगा एवरेज फिलहाल ना करें, पुल बैक का इंतजार करें। पुल बैक में एग्जिट के मौके ढूंढे। जहां तक टीटीएमएल की बात है, यहाँ पे 54 पे के स्टॉप लॉस से आप एक बार के लिए बने रह सकते हैं, जो आज के दिन के लोएस्ट लेवल है। और पुल बैक अगर 60-65 के जोन में आता है तो वहां पे फिर से रिव्यू करें। एमएमटीसी पर भी सिमिलर अप्रोच रखने की सलाह होगी, क्योंकि काउंटर काफी लंबे समय से गिरावट का दौर दिखा रहा है। पिछले 6 महीने से यहाँ पे गिरावट हमें देखने को मिल रही है, तो हो सकता है एक डिसेंट पुल बैक यहाँ पे देखने को मिले। बट मैं यहाँ पे एवरेज करने की सलाह नहीं दूंगा, क्योंकि कन्विक्शन फिलहाल मिसिंग है। अगर ये काउंटर 58 के ऊपर निकलता है, 56 के ऊपर अगर ये निकलता है, तो ही यहाँ पे एवरेज के बारे में सोचा जा सकता है। बट फिलहाल के लिए अगर बने रहना चाहते हैं तो 44 रुपीज 50 पैसा, 44 रुपये 50 पैसे के साथ बने रह सकते हैं।
चलिए ठीक है, उम्मीद करते हैं यहाँ पर भी आपको राय मिल गई होगी। अगला सवाल हम ले लेते हैं, हमारे पास यूट्यूब के जरिए भी जो क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं उनके ऊपर। पीटर राज लिखते हैं, हाय आई एम पीटर फ्रॉम ट्रिची, आई बॉट रेन इंडस्ट्रीज एट 170 लेवल्स, कैन आई ऐड मोर नाउ? अगेन रेन इंडस्ट्रीज में एवरेज करना चाह रहे हैं, कुछ सलाह बनेगी यहाँ पर?
देखिए यहाँ पे एक गिरावट के बाद एक अच्छी बात यह है कि स्टॉक अपने मल्टी मंथ सपोर्ट के आसपास आ चुका है, जो सपोर्ट है 110 के आसपास। अगर एवरेज करना चाहते हैं तो एक सबसे पहले 110 का इन्हें स्टॉप लॉस रखना होगा। ट्रेंड अभी भी वीक है, बट हो सकता है यहाँ पे एक पुल बैक इन्हें देखने को मिले। पुल बैक इस काउंटर को 130 135 तक ले जा सकता है। क्लियरली लोअर टॉप एंड लो बॉटम फॉर्मेशन विजिबल है। अगर ये स्टॉक 135 के ऊपर निकलता है तो ये नेगेटिव फॉर्मेशन यहाँ पे निगेट हो जाएगा, और उसके बाद हमें स्ट्रॉन्ग रिवर्सल देखने को मिलेगा। बट फिलहाल के लिए एवरेज करना चाहते हैं तो एक स्टिक स्टॉप लॉस के साथ 110 के स्टॉप लॉस के साथ पोजीशन को ऐड करके चल सकते हैं।
Okay. Next, Kolkata se Momita hame likhti hai. Hi Sakshi, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you as well, Momita. Hope you're doing well. She wants to know on Adani Ports and Adani Enterprises. So Adani stocks on her focus. She says, is it the good time to average Adani Ports, which I have at an average price of 1171. Currently, it's at 1058. Her Adani Enterprises average price is 2453, 2453, and currently the stock is down at 2100 odd levels. Her time frame is 1 year plus on this one. So what should she do?
Both the stocks technically are looking stable after a decent correction, because the good part after this correction is that the stock has reached to its multi-year support zone as far as the Adani Port is concerned. So Adani Port has a very strong support at 978. Roughly, we can say 975 should be the stop loss for the long position. And yes, with a time horizon of 8 months or 1 year plus, this particular counter can be bought and can be average out since already bought at high level. So stop loss should be placed at 975 in this particular counter. Similar is the approach should be Adani Enterprise, but conviction comparatively is more in Adani Port compared to Adani Enterprise. Adani Enterprise, if somebody wants to hold, then one should keep a stop loss at 1980, and one can wait for a pullback towards 2300 to 2400. But don't see any major V-shaped recovery in this particular counter, and do not have that kind of conviction where this stock will rebound and reach to the levels of 3000 plus. So better to average in Adani Port and Adani Enterprise. Purely from a pullback perspective, it can be bought.
Okay. We have a question coming in from Satyan. He says, I want to harvest my loss. So book my loss now and buy them later again on some of the stocks. Could you please suggest on these stocks, can I sell at the current price and when should I take an entry? One is Reliance Industries and the other one is HAL. How would you really look at these two stocks? Do you think for loss harvesting, somebody should go to, sell these stocks right now and buy at a later stage?
See, first of all, you need to understand that when you are booking your losses at the same point of time, you have to buy again on the very next
Yeah.
day, right? First thing, if you just look at the trend, Reliance today has fallen by almost 3%, and there could be possibility of a dead cat bounce. So better to wait for a pullback towards 1200 to 1220. Uh, During this pullback, you can probably exit your position and buy on the very next day. Do not try to time the market. Do not try to find the exact bottom in these particular counters. Markets are extremely volatile, and we are likely to witness a whipsaw moment as well. HL today, in fact, surprisingly, we have seen a very strong rebound of 2% plus. So again, a similar approach should be adopted here. Wait for a pullback towards 3400 to 3500. On a very good day, you should exit your long position, and on a very bad day you can again reinvest the same position and recreate your same position. So better to wait for a pullback. As of now, this is not a right time to book your losses.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has also helped you out. Some questions coming in on our YouTube as well. Samvit Nageshwar says, good afternoon to everyone. I want to know whether I can take a fresh entry in Angel One and in DCX Systems. I have a long-term time frame. Angel One, again, a good stock which has actually performed well in the recent past in the capital market story from the brokerage houses spaces. And the other one is DCX Systems, which again has had a good past, but of course, what we are seeing is that it's also coming down under pressure. Any of these stocks, Nilesh, that you believe could be looked at to take a fresh entry?
Right. So first of all, avoid DCX India. This particular counter is not looking attractive at all, given the kind of structure breakdown we can see. So either wait for sustainability of this particular pullback towards 240. If at all it closes above 240, then probably you can review and buy. But as of now, it's an avoid because the structure is not looking attractive at all. Angel One, see, comparatively, this particular counter, as you have rightly pointed out, has a very strong fundamental and good positional story as well. So with a time horizon of 6 to 8 months or maybe 1 year plus time frame, this particular counter can be bought in a staggered manner at current level, and on decline can be added. So the stop loss is coming somewhere around 1750. So that should be the stop loss for the long position, and buy and decline should be the approach.
Okay, I hope this has also gotten you an understanding of how should you be looking at it. Last question that we'll take from our viewers today. Satya CK writes in, Hi Sakshi, good afternoon. I want to know any support levels that, the expert can suggest to me on Aarti Industries and on GNFC. So mostly fertilizers, chemicals stocks in his portfolio. Aarti Industries and GNFC, where are the supports placed?
See, both the stocks have underperformed a lot,
Yeah.
specifically Aarti Industries. Within the chemical basket, this particular stock has been one of the underperformer. As far as support is concerned, the next major support for this particular counter comes around 320. So if somebody is already holding the long position, ideally I would advise to exit on pullbacks because the structure is not looking attractive at all. If at all we see any pullback towards 430 to 450, that could be a good exit point. Or maybe one can review at those levels. But as of now, if somebody wants to stay put, then keep a stop loss at 325. Another stock, GNFC, a similar structural breakdown can be seen in this particular counter as well. But good part is that it is trading almost near to its support zone of 445. So 445 should be the stop loss for the long position, and there could be possibility of a strong rebound because the stock has witnessed a sharp correction in last three sessions. So some pullback towards 500 to 550 can be seen, but keep a strict stop loss in this kind of market. These are the stocks which are underperforming.
Okay. And lastly, Nilesh, as I said that, I'll take your market view right in the end. We have flattened out now. We have recovered from the day's low as well. But I really want to understand in terms of the sentiment that you're looking at. By when do you think the markets will stabilize again?
Well, Sakshi, it's very difficult to time the market, as I mentioned, because the markets are constantly, we are witnessing a continuation of a downtake. This is the third consecutive week of fall that we have seen. This, in fact, this is the fourth week which has begun. So structure-wise, the Nifty is still looking weak, although we could see some pullback towards 22,600, 22,800. That cannot be ruled out. The RSI is at almost 20 levels, which is indicating that markets are extremely oversold. So yes, the good level to witness a pullback is 22,000. If today as well, if you see Nifty has made a low of almost 22,000, and from those levels we have seen a recovery of more than 100 points. So these are the levels where ideally we should see a dead cat bounce or a pullback, you can say, because 22,000 is a very strong support, psychological support as well. And going forward, we are expecting a break below the same. And on the lower side, 21,600, 21,500 kind of levels can be seen. So markets are, as of now, in the downtrend. In between, we may see a pullback. That pullbacks are unlikely to be sustainable. The focus should be on the stock-specific move. In spite of such a weak market, if you see today, counters like Kotak Bank, Cummins India, Bajaj Finance, these are the few stocks that are in fact showing the strength, and we expect stock-specific move to continue. If you see Bank Nifty on the other hand, in last few trading sessions, we have seen some outperformance. Bank Nifty still did not break its January month's low of 47,800. So that itself shows that Bank Nifty is comparatively outperforming, and we may see banks are doing likely to do well. Those counters like HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, and also Kotak Mahindra Bank, as I pointed out. So these are the stocks where one should keep an eye on. Purely, one should refrain from creating any sort of aggressive long or short position at current juncture because we may see a wild move from here. So overall undertone looks weak, but yes, there could be possibility of a pullback.
Okay, and lastly, I want to ask you on the mid and the small cap space also, Nilesh, are you really looking at more pain from even the current levels in these spaces? These have been the worst hit. Both these mid and small caps have entered into a bear market because when we see from the peak, mid caps are down 22%, small caps over 25% lower. So is there further pain to be seen from here as well on both these mid and small caps?
Absolutely. So, if you see the broader markets where we have seen a major pain compared to the large cap indices, so in fact, broader markets, specifically mid cap index, it looks like it is heading towards 47,000 or below the same. We might see the levels going forward. So the pain is not yet over. The index are not out of the woods yet, and we may see further downtick to continue. But we are in the kind of a bear market structure as far as broader markets are concerned, where
Yeah.
the indices are forming a low top and low bottom. So as of now, the lower bottom has been formed. Lower top could be formed somewhere around 49,000 to 50,000 in the Nifty mid cap index. So overall, the weakness is likely to remain. The focus should be on the blue chip counters, the large cap stocks, because there we are getting margin of safety. But broader markets, specifically mid cap and small cap, we expect further doubting to continue. Even if you look at Nifty small cap index, it looks like it is heading towards 14,000 to 13,700 from a shorter point of view. But yes, as mentioned, the markets are oversold. In this kind of oversold market, we tend to see some dead cat bounce. So this dead cat bounce should use an exit opportunity rather than making any fresh longs.
Okay, fair point, Nilesh. Well, thank you so much for being with us in today's trading session and helping our viewers with all their queries in this weak setup of the market, also helping them with strategies to follow in this continuing falling market, and of course, what is the outlook as well. Appreciate your time with us. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you, Sakshi. Thank you for having me on the show.
All right, viewers, we'll wrap it up at that. The good part is that the Nifty has turned green, although flat with just a positive bias, but 22,125 after that sharp sell-off in the morning. But what still remains to be seen is whether the broader market will also recover in trade. There is still a sharp weakness across mid and small caps at this point in time. The Nifty Bank also is lower by about 0.4%, but we are still about 2.5 hours away from the day's close. Let's see whether the Nifty is able to see some more recovery from where it is right now, and we can see some more pockets also lending a hand there. Stay tuned with us. We'll continue to cover the markets for you throughout the course of the day, and there's a lot of action to be covered. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to Business Today's Banking and Economy Summit, Best Banks Award. I'm joined by Sanjay Doshi, Partner Financial Services Advisory Leader, KPMG in India. Hello sir, pleasure to have you here.
Hi.
Sir, I want to start by asking you that the interest rate